In 1985, Toyota released one of their most popular sports cars. We have the 1985 Toyota Terreno over here. And on my left, we have the 2004 Toyota GR86 Premium Edition. Now, lots has changed between technology, engines, and overall looks since 1985. But how much has changed and how much better is the 2024 Toyota GR86? Well, let's find out. Starting off in the front here, you can see that a lot has changed since the original model, but it does look a lot like the recent models in the recent years, and it still looks fantastic. You've got dual beam LED headlights here with a light diffuser running around the bottom all the way to the side, some great lines running through the body, as well as functional vents on the side, center, and other side as well. And of course, we've got the Toyota badge in the middle here, as well as a color matching lip running throughout the bottom. Overall, the front end looks absolutely sexy, especially in this price range. It's an absolute killer look, in my opinion. Let me know in the comments what you think about the front end of it. Moving along to the side, we do have 18-inch wheels. Again, it's kind of got this almost sword style wheel on it, as well as the Brembo brake calipers behind it. Great looking wheels nonetheless. And then we do have some more functional vents on the side here behind the wheel. Always great to see, as well as the body kit lip running around through the back. Looks fantastic. And then here we've got some black side view mirrors, no cameras on them, but they do have lane departure warning and other safety features built into them overall, so that's great. Unlike the Supra, you do not have a massive bubble roof, but it does have a little bit of a bubble on it to give you a little bit more headroom. Now, the GR86 and Supra are the last of a dying breed, especially when it comes to Toyota. It is actually rear-wheel drive, and it is a 6-speed manual, but you do have the same size wheel in the rear as you do in the front. But you can see that the hips stick out a bit. They look real good, give it a lot more presence, and just a sportier feel overall. Coming around to the back, you've got the taillights that wrap into the side here, and they kind of stick out a good bit, and they've got great stylization going on with your brake light wrapping around your reverse light. Aside from the taillights, you do have your GR86 badge, your Toyota badge, your backup camera, and then you've got your trunk release button. But a weird quirky thing, I must say, is that you can only open the trunk with that button when the car's off. I don't know why. Seems kind of silly. Also, the remote to open up the trunk also will not open up the trunk when the car's on. Doesn't really make sense. Sometimes I just need to get something out of the trunk really quick. But below all of that, with your rear diffuser, you do have 2 exhaust pipes, and they're kind of stylized a little bit. They've got, you know, not just your bare pipe, but overall they look really good. Then you've got your reverse light and brake light once again, and that about does it for the exterior of this GR86. Now let's check out the exterior of the 1985 and see how different that is. Because right off the bat, one of the first things you can see is that this bad boy's got 15-inch tires. Originally it had 14s, but you know, the owner of this car does have some pretty cool wheels on it after all, and some style point lug nuts. So he's trying pretty hard. Come around to the front, we see some illegal things such as the pop-up headlights. Man, I always loved that. It's too bad that they're not allowed anymore. They look really good. And then actually full functioning vents at the front, a Terreno badge, which looks really cool. And for some reason, this car has a garbage bag on it. But overall, I actually really like the look of the 86. Well, this 1985. GR86 or Terreno, whatever you want to say. Overall, I think it looks really good, and it's super clean as well. But you've got large angular windows in both the front and rear, as well as on this one we have a carbon fiber hatch. Looks have changed a ton since 1985, that's for certain. And I know many people that are not a fan of the boxy style and they only like the bubbly style that we have in today's cars. I don't know, call me weird. I like this. But let's hop into them and see how they drive. All right, so for the interior of the 2024 GR86, it's all very standard. You don't have a lot of technology in here or anything, but you do have everything you need. On the left-hand side for your door panel, of course, you've got a manual lock, you have your door handle, your side view mirror controls, as well as one-touch operation for both the driver and passenger window, and you can even lock it. Above that, you do have your trunk release button, as well as your digital gauge cluster's brightness control, so that's good. And above there, you've got your trip reset button right to the right of your vent and to the left of your digital gauge cluster. Now the steering wheel itself, it's pretty sporty. It's got nice curves on it. It's not very thick. I would like for it to be just a little bit thicker for comfort. But on the left-hand side, you've got your multimedia controls. And then on the right-hand side, you've got the controls so you can change your digital gauge cluster and everything like that. Speaking of the digital gauge cluster, you do have a 7-inch digital gauge cluster. And overall, it's got a good bit of information on it, so that's nice. You can even look at the G-force. You can set a lap timer, and as well as look at your RPMs and things like that, as well as other driver functions or media controls. It's all right there. The stalks themselves are very standard. On the left-hand side, you've got your light controls, and then on the right-hand side, you've got your windshield wiper controls. Nothing too crazy going on here. But this does also have adaptive cruise control, among other driver's assistance and safety features, so that's great, very handy. So on the right-hand side below your steering wheel, that's where you do have your cruise control set there. Moving along to the right-hand side of your steering wheel here, you've got a nice GR start and stop button. It is push start. Below that, you do have your heating and air controls, and they look kind of cool in this one. They're big circular dials. I don't know, they just look cool themselves. And then you've got like kind of these flip switches for whether it's your rear or front windshield defrost, different modes, and syncing your passenger and drivers together. Moving on beyond that, we do have our 6-speed manual shifter, and it looks nice. It's got a leather boot with some white stitching for some contrast. Overall, it looks pretty good. But beyond that, we do have our traction control switch as well as our track mode switch. Interesting thing about the track mode, it actually took me a few minutes to get it functional because you actually have to hold it, and I thought that you don't. So it took me a little bit to figure it out. I actually needed Uncle Steve's help. He had to tell me what to do.
Old people, man.
Old people, yeah.
They have experience.
He's used to all these manual things. But beyond that, we do actually have heated seats in our bucket seats on this GR86, so that's pretty cool. As well as a center console. So that's a win over the Supra there. You pay more and you get no center console in the Supra, but it's got the kind of butterfly doors on it. Overall, it's pretty good, and it's got 2 cup holders in there. And then inside of there, you do have 2 Type A USB ports, as well as an auxiliary jack so that you can listen to your tunes while you're cruising. Moving back towards the front of the center console here, we do have a 7-inch infotainment screen. It's a little dated, but you know what? I've seen worse from Toyota and especially other manufacturers. Overall, it's actually pretty responsive, so it works well. You do actually get wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay in it though, so that's great. Overall, I do like that a lot of the buttons in the GR86 are buttons, and you don't really have to do anything in the infotainment screen, especially while driving a manual. The last thing I want to be doing is searching through the touchscreen so I can change the air or something like that. But speaking of the infotainment center, because this is a premium GR86, you do actually have an 8-speaker sound system in this compared to the entry-level trim. That one only has 6, so you'll get a little bit better sound stage in here, and overall it'll just sound a little bit better. Now, above the infotainment center, you do have your hazard switch as well as some more vents, so that's great. That's about it for the center console. You've got a decent sized glove compartment. You also have another cup holder on the door, which is nice. And then up above, you've just got a normal rear view mirror, no home link buttons or anything like that on this GR86. Above your rear view mirror though, you do have an SOS button and an assist button, as well as your dome light controls. Nowhere to put your sunglasses or anything like that, so you keep them on your face because there's nowhere to put them. Now, as for drive comfort, it's actually pretty comfortable. The suspension is fine, especially for this low sports car on 18-inch summer tires. But, you know, it's pretty great overall. The seat is actually pretty comfortable, and like I mentioned, you do actually have heated seats. As far as bucket seats go, I would say it's pretty comfortable. I mean, Steve, you drive with bucket seats all the time. How does this stack up for you?
This is really comfortable. Actually, I feel like it's better than the Supra.
Yeah?
The Supra more tight, more grip. So I think it's more preference, people like personal preference, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
And of course, the Supra is faster and they need more grip, right?
Right. Yeah, because I think the 0 to 60 in this is only like 5.4 seconds or something, whereas the Supra is like 4.2.
Yeah. It's like a second and a half faster. Or Supra at 400 horsepower.
Right. Overall though, visibility is surprisingly not all that bad. You've got a really big back window, and as well as the large front windows and a large windshield. So it's pretty good there. However, if you're trying to check your blind spots, you'll see that Uncle Steve's head's in the way, or I can't see out the window on the left here. So you've really got to use your mirrors, because when you're switching lanes or anything, you can't see them there.
For passenger, actually really comfortable.
Yeah?
I don't feel too small or anything. Oh, I have a lot of headroom as well, you know.
Yeah, tons of headroom. I mean, I'm like 5'10", you're like 7'8", and you still have like 4 inches of headroom.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You should cosplay, or you could dress up as Slender Man for Halloween. Now, as far as the rear goes, because you will see that this does actually have back seats. They're not really usable. I would strongly suggest you don't try to sit in them. You're not even going to fit a child back there. Unless you're like 5 feet tall and you can have your driver's seat really far forward, you're not putting anybody in the back. But the seats are there mostly for cargo space, for when you inevitably fill up your trunk. But the trunk is actually a pretty decent size. It's not crazy deep, but you can fit 2, maybe 3 suitcases in there, depending on where you're going. And then you can also, just like you could in 1985, you can also drop the seats. It even has the same pull lever on the top of the seats, just like it did back then. So when you lay those seats, they do lay perfectly flat, and you get tons of room then. GR86 is exceptionally noisy though, whether it's engine noise, exhaust noise, wind noise, you get it all. You're not getting away from any of it, and you're gonna love it. But it's not a very great sounding exhaust, I would say. I would definitely like to hear it a little bit better, or hear a better exhaust, but it's not bad. It's just a little lackluster.
Oh, I had a Subaru WRX before. It doesn't sound like a Subaru engine at all. Like, you know, Subaru engine almost have like rumbling exhaust tone.
Yeah.
This does not have that, you know. I think it's kind of a good thing. I don't want to keep reminding me it has a Subaru engine.
Yeah. It's the same one as the BRZ, right?
Yeah, it's the one BRZ, yes.
Well, that's about it for the interior and my drive impressions. How about we get to Uncle Steve so we can talk more about the powertrain and what he thinks of this one, especially compared to his 1985.
Now, for this year, 2024, the powertrain has not changed. It still has a 2.4 liter box engine, 4-cylinder, with 228 horsepower and 184 foot-pound of torque. 0 to 60 is 6.1 seconds for the 6-speed manual, and it also is an optional for automatic transmission, 6-speed automatic transmission. However, the 0 to 60 for the automatic transmission is 6.6 seconds. And automatic and manual update both are rear-wheel drive with LSD.
How do you like that though, Steve?
The LSD?
Okay. The human can outshift the machine.
I love it, man. I'm all about mechanical, you know. When you look at the 85, the 86, they have crank window. So it never breaks. Right? Am I right?
Yeah. No,
Power window eventually is gonna break.
Yeah. Or your switch goes bad or whatever.
Yeah, so I'm all about mechanical. Well, for the mile per gallon, 21 for the city and then 31 for the highway. So in my opinion, the mile per gallon is a little bit low for 228 horsepower. Well, let's talk about the drive. The drive is amazing. I spent like quite a bit yesterday driving this the new GR86. After I drove it, I feel my 85 is like completely, like, I don't want to use the word shit, but it feels pretty bad. But you cannot compare like 40-year-old car, you know, to a like brand new, you know, all this 40-year development. Yeah. You better have improved something, right? Yeah, we're definitely not doing an apples to apples comparison. It's more of a look at the awesome 1985 one, and then here's the also awesome 2024 one. I would say it's really similar like feeling compared to the old one. For example, the steering with spine is really sensitive. Like, it makes you feel like you will, if you turn left, you will go left. If you go right, you go right. Yeah. So no delay, you know, it's really sharp. When you're doing donuts on a Mustang, you feel like you're losing control. Actually, you're losing control in a Mustang. But this, or either my 85, it's not. It feels like it's still controllable and extremely easy to do donuts. You don't need a big horsepower. Even my 85 only have like 150, 120 horsepower. It can still very easy to do donuts. So maybe that's why it's really good for drifting. Well, besides that, the brake is awesome. Well, of course, they got the 4-port Brembo calipers. Also, the space is actually very good, like in a sport car. I feel the Supra is a little bit tight than this one. What do you think?
Yeah, the Supra definitely felt a lot tighter. It's definitely not as tight as a Fiat 500, but...
Oh, geez, yeah.
But no, it does feel rather spacious in here. I've heard some people say that the GR86, they feel is tighter than the Supra, but I actually feel we have a lot more room in this than in the Supra.
Yeah, I think so too. Maybe I lost some couple of pounds.
Maybe.
Like in like a few weeks.
Yeah.
And I also like the feature they have, like they have this lap time, you know. They know, Toyota know, or Subaru, they know you're gonna take it to the track. They offer that, but I don't remember that GR Corolla has that feature. But the Supra definitely have a horsepower and torque graph. But this is not just that. This is have horsepower and torque graph, but they also have the G-force.
Which is sweet.
That's sweet, yeah.
I would have liked to see more things like how the Mustang had, where you've got different tracks you can load in. You've got 0 to 60 you can measure. Yeah, I'd like to see more of that. But you know, for the price point of this one, you can't beat it.
Yeah. Tell us about how much this thing costs.
Well, yeah, okay. I guess that's what everybody wants to know now that we've talked it up so much.
Yeah,
how much do you have to?
Guy,
yeah, how much do you have to fork up to get one of these bad boys? Well, the base trim of the 2024 GR86 is actually very affordable. It comes in at $30,435. Now the premium trim, which we're actually driving today, is $32,995.
Oh, okay.
And then there's the Torino edition, right? And that's $36,240.
But you know the Torino edition is they only produce 860 units.
Yeah.
So for 6,000 extra.
Getting that Torino edition?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you still get the six-speed manual for the base model?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Then I'll go for the base model.
Right.
And take it to track all day.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's an extremely affordable performance car.
It is extremely affordable. I think that's how Toyota and Subaru design this car. They want to be lightweight, affordable, simple, and fun.
Yeah, and it's $20,000 less than the Supra.
Well, the other thing I don't like is the cargo space. If you really want to talk about cargo space, it's just compared to the 85, you can, I don't know, for 85 you can just move a lot of tofu.
But I'm not buying a performance car and being like, why can't I go to IKEA and buy a bed and put it in here?
You want to take it to the track and then just have fun with it, and also you can do daily stuff.
Yeah, get groceries.
Yeah, if you want to move you want to move furniture, you just go to get a U-Haul.
Yeah, that's what normal people do.
And they're not sponsored for this. So overall, for how I feel about the driving compared to what I have the 85, I think it's fantastic. Acceleration is there. You can feel the torque when you accelerate. The brake is there. Like Josh said, the handling is awesome. The steering response is awesome. The shifting is really smooth as well. So that is my opinion.
You're the expert here because, like you said, you've got one that you drive all the time. But there you have it. In conclusion, the 2024 GR86 Premium is a hell of a car. It's a fun ride, very responsive, affordable, and just a lot of fun in general. I would say that if you're looking at getting a new sports car for the 2025 summer seasons, or hey, maybe you live in California or something like that and you don't get this crappy fall, winter like we do, go check one out, drive it around, see how you like it. It's a ton of fun and just a blast to drive. Well, there you have it. Smash up the likes, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next video.